What's up, guys? Jenna Geary here. I am here to talk about my Monday. My Monday now is going to consist of some core work to keep my core tight, but also some core work for my lower back to make sure that my back stays nice and strong. So if this is the first time you're watching on the channel, I have a herniated disc. I have a lot of issues. You'd be here all day if I started naming everything that I have from head to toe, starting in here. Okay, hashtag mental case, but whatever. So what I have is a herniated disc, so I do a lot of rehab stuff for that. And then I also have a hip issue. I have bursitis and arthritis and narrowing of the hip joint. So today is going to consist of some core work and some lower back stuff. And I swear by the reverse hyperextension, which I love, that my favorite, the best gym in the world, even though I haven't been to a lot of gyms in the world, but definitely in Vegas and definitely in any place I've been, I think Fit Club, the Hacienda location, is the best. So if you're in Vegas, please come check them out. But I'm going to go over the reverse hyperextension, how to use it. I've done it before in videos, but again, you might be new to the channel. And then I'm gonna show some sled work that I do for my hips, for my lower back, for my abs. I'm gonna talk about how I do it, where I drive. It's also good for my knees too, because I also have had plenty of knee issues. I was told by 3 doctors that I needed double knee replacement, and then the 4th one said rehab, and I said, I like you, my friend. So we're gonna get into that, and that's it. So, and I might add in a few exercises that I don't necessarily do, but then that I think people would like to know about. So let's just get to work. I don't know what I'm gonna start with, so just hold on tight. See you in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start out with some of the mobility work. Again, I have done this in a video, but I really need to warm up my hips no matter what. I'm trying to get in my mobility work on all 3 leg days and then on this 4th day. And then I take 2 days off, and then on Thursday I do upper body, so I really don't do any mobility work. So I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that I do on the mat and then some of the stuff that I do standing. So since the camera is standing height, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my standing stuff, okay? Okay, so first thing that I do is I think these are called helicopters. So I'll do it on both, but I'll pretty much do like an extra set or 2 on the left one. There are not modifications, but you can progress up from this and make this more challenging by adding weight to it. I'm not there yet, so I'm still working my way up to it. So I'll go like this, and then what I do is I drop my hip, and then I open my hip. I drop it, and then I open it. All right, so I do about 10 on each side. And then another exercise that I do, again, I don't know what this one is called, but I usually will hold on for this one, and I keep my knee up, and then I open up my leg out to the side, and then bring my hip to the back out to the side, back to the front. I don't put my leg down. I keep it up the whole entire time. And I try not to move my hips too much, okay? And I'll do that on both sides, but again, I'll do like an extra set on this side. So we're gonna move the camera a little bit, and I'm gonna show you what I do on the ground. I will say I probably should have showed you, because I do like to warm up on the ground first. I also have to go get one of my bands from the X Bands, so I can show you what I do with that as well. All right, so you'll notice the sled in the background with bands on it, ready to go. Not really ready to go because I'm gonna put some weight on that B, but I'm gonna warm up with my band, okay? So I'm gonna put my band not on my ankles, I'm gonna put it on my feet, and I'm gonna lay down. I'll do this standing too, but I like to do it on the ground also. So what I do is I keep my abs nice and tight, trying to drive my spine into the ground, bringing my knees up. I'll bring them up right to shoulder width, and then I'll also bring it a little bit out to the side So like I say, shoulder width in the front, and then out to the side, out to the side. Again, trying to keep my abs nice and tight. Okay. Then what I'll do is, a lot of the times I'll stretch in between. I'll pull my legs out to the side. Sometimes I'll do this with like a crunch. Okay, now another little tip that I've given people, anytime your back feels really tight, and this is totally anytime in any workout, this has nothing to do with like a warm-up or whatnot. I have talked about this before. An exercise that I was taught a very long time ago to take the pressure off your back. So when it just feels really tight, it's not necessarily a stretch, but it actually, I feel like it helps me more than a stretch does. So your glutes and your abs together are gonna take the pressure off your lower back. So that's why you abdominal brace, keep the glutes nice and tight on a lot of these movements, okay? So let's just say your back is really tight. What I do is I lay down on the ground in frog position, and then I will put my hands on my stomach, and I'll go into a crunch, but I'll also squeeze my glutes. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, and I'll hold it for 5 seconds, and I'll drive my spine into the ground, and then I relax. Come up, squeeze, 5 seconds, and then I'll relax. So that is nothing to do with my warm-up. This just has to do with something that you could do. So remember that exercise. If your back feels really tight after a movement, that's one of the things that you could do. Okay, now what I'll do is, I do this 2 different ways. Sometimes I'll do this and I start at the end of the bench with my arms up, and I do like the L, and I shift from side to side. But when I do it, I move. So you'll notice I'm moving to the head of the bench, okay? I also do this just like this. I actually feel it more, and I feel like it's harder when I do it with my arms up, which is what I need to do. I need to do the harder one, not the easier one, okay? So, here. I'm gonna show you guys an exercise that I've done in videos before. Still not great at it, and I'm hoping as time goes on and I work these hips more and more and continue to do my mobility work, that I get better and better at it. So I'm about to attempt this on camera. Pray for me. Okay, so I am gonna go into another thing that I do for my hips. So, okay, so I have yet to be able to do this without touching the ground, but technically you should be able to. So bring your knee down, back out, and then shift to the other side. Now, I already noticed that I'm better because I've had to walk myself over. Okay, this right side is significantly better. This is the hip. I'm trying really hard. I didn't even touch on that one. Okay, but I will say it is much better than the previous videos that I've done. Okay, now the last thing that I'll do face down is a couple other movements for like adductors and glutes. So I stay in and I try to get as low as I possibly can each time. Go onto my elbows and I'll sit back, almost like cat pose for yoga, which I have been doing every week. And then, so I stay here and I go lifting my heel and my leg up in a 90-degree angle, staying facing down. After I do like 5 on each side, then what I do is I go and I shift. I keep my legs straight and I shift from side to side. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go through this a little bit more off camera, and then we'll get into the first core exercise. Okay, so I am gonna go with the first core exercise to be the most common thing that people do when they're training core, and that is the plank. or prone iso abs, whatever you want to call it. And there's two ways that you could do it. You could do it on the hands or you could do it on the elbows. I like to teach it on the elbows. So what I like to do is tell people to think of it as like your table, right? So when you're in the plank, your elbows should be right underneath your shoulders. So you're a table. So if the legs of the table are too far in or too far out, you're gonna slide. So you should technically be able to do this on ice if you are driving or positioned in the right way. So like I said, elbows are gonna be underneath the shoulders and toes are gonna be right underneath the heels. Now, another thing that you might notice is that your butt is too high or your hips are too low. Now there are things that you could do, like when I do the plank sometimes with my clients, I'll do like plank with a hip touch, which actually is more like a thigh touch because your hips don't touch the ground, the top of your thighs do. But there are different ways to do this. What you want to do, and this is kind of like the same thing as I was teaching when I showed that stretch with the glutes and the core. So if you are a woman that has given birth, I want you to think that you're bearing down, so keeping the abs tight. If you are a woman or a man that hasn't given birth, just think that you're taking a poop. That's the best thing. So you're just bearing down. Okay, so you're not sucking in, you're bearing down and you're breathing through the diaphragm, keeping the abs nice and tight. Those are things that you're gonna do during a squat, during so many deadlift, a lot of other movements, even a bent over row, or you gotta keep your core tight. Now, you wouldn't tuck your hips under when you're doing you do a little bit with a squat. You wouldn't do it a lot. You wouldn't tuck your hips under when you're doing a bent over row, but when you're doing the plank, you're gonna actually tuck your hips under and squeeze the glutes, okay? So I'm gonna move the mat a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna go into my position of the plank. Okay, elbows are right underneath the shoulders, toes are right underneath the heels. And notice this, I feel my back and my glutes are relaxed. So I don't really feel any tension in my abs or my glutes. So I want to be able to, the reason why you're doing this exercise is so that you're practicing to abdominal brace. Your core is your powerhouse. So the more you can keep your core tight for a length of time, the more you'll be able to hold that while you're doing 12 to 15 squats, okay? So the last thing you want is for your core to give out while you're doing a movement. So this is a really important exercise to do, not just for abs or I wanna have a six pack or whatnot, which is not even really working for your six pack, it's your diaphragm, not your abs. It's really meant for every other part of your movements. I mean, even when you're doing things like boxing or whatnot, when you breathe and you punch, you're punching and you're flexing your abs at the same time. So let's get back into the movement. So what I do is, I tell clients, hold it as long as you possibly can. So I'll give you an example. I've talked about her before, my 74-year-old client. We started out doing 3 sets of 20 to 30 seconds, and now she's up to over a minute, and she's only been with me for a few months. Almost up to 2 minutes. So that's what you want to do. Then once you get to that time, you could start doing different things by progressing it. And how you would progress it would be to hold the position, but maybe lift a leg or lift an arm, okay? So I do some of these in yoga. So my abs are nice and tight, I'm tucked under. Once I start to notice that my abs are relaxing and I'm sticking my butt out, I stop, okay? So here, like this. Now, if I wanted to make the exercise more challenging, I would lift a leg, trying to keep my hips from moving, okay? Or lift another leg. So that is how you can make something harder. You would also do things like lift the left leg and the right arm. I literally just did that on Saturday in yoga. So that is how you do the abs, the plank position, okay? So practice that, hold it for as long as you can, keep the abs tight, keep the glutes tight, like you're holding on to $1 million bill that you don't want anybody to get access to. They can't grab it, okay? And then, like your abs are tight, like somebody's going to punch you or kick you in the stomach while you're in that position. Okay, we're gonna go into the next one, but I'm gonna go get like something to hold on to so I can demo this, okay? All right, exercise number 2. which is another one that is a basic exercise that a lot of people get wrong, is a Russian twist. There's a couple different ways that you could do it. I'm gonna show you both ways. I'm gonna show you with the medicine ball, and I'm gonna also show you without. So a Russian twist is basically you're sitting in a V-sit position, abs are nice and tight, okay? Slightly lean back. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the wrong way and the right way. So here is a Russian twist. You could either hold something here or not, but this is cues that I give to my clients, okay? I will tell them, keep your thumbs touching your chest and then rotate, okay? Depending on somebody's tightness, strength, you know, if they can touch their elbow to the ground. My back is a little tight, so it's a little hard for me to get all the way down. But the biggest thing is keeping the thumb on the chest. So as soon as they move, like this is what you'll see a lot of. Oh, what am I working here? Am I working my shoulders, my armpits, or am I trying to work my obliques? So that's why I say keep it here. If you are gonna got a really strong core, you're gonna use something, keep it on your chest. Keep it touching here, okay? So that, you got body weight, no extra additional weight, that's a 10-pound ball. Thumbs on the chest. If you want to, you could also lift, okay? And that, you might be able to get down lower, which I can, but I also have to balance, okay? So might feel that a little bit in your hip flexors, and that just could be because your hip flexors are tight. So stretching them and stuff like that in between sets might be a good thing to do. But this is another progression. So you would go here, no weight, then add weight, then here, no weight, then here with weight, okay? But the big thing here is keeping your abs tight and keeping the elbows in the same exact position and the thumbs and everything on the chest. So that's your Russian twist. I think I have one more, and then I'm gonna go into some sled work and show you how to do that. Okay, so another super basic exercise that people tend to get wrong. Listen, sometimes you just gotta take it back to the basics. It's not about doing all these really super cool advanced moves. If you can't even do the basics, then you have no business doing the advanced moves. So really lock down the basics and then move on from there. So a lot of exercises that people get wrong is a basic sit-up. What I will say is that I am a major fan of doing a sit-up on the ball as opposed to on the floor. What you want to get when you're doing a sit-up is that full range of motion of the spine. And the spine does not just stay flat. So it actually will then curl here and then crunch here. So why do you want to go flat on the floor when you should be doing a full range of motion crunch? You want to get a full stretch. So the abs, now we're working the abs as opposed to just the diaphragm, okay? Or transverse abdominal, or whatever that we were doing with the plank and stuff like that. So you want to get that full stretch, okay? Full stretch, full contraction. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna sit on the ball, and there's different size balls. I believe this one's 55, 65, and 75. So people ask me all the time how tall I am. I'm like 5'6" on a good day. So I could use either a 55 or a 65. So I just grabbed this ball, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll down until right here. And I'm demoing on the side so you can see the bend in my hips. And if you feel like you're sliding, it might be the floor that you're on, but here. Now, another thing that people do is they tend to pull on their neck. You wanna keep that neutral spine. So you can cross your hands here, you can lightly touch your head here, or you could have a towel here. Okay, but all the focus is gonna be right here. And then there are progressions to this as well. You could do a cable, which you don't have to go heavy on this, or you could attach a tube. Maybe I'll do that so I can show you guys, okay? You could attach a tube for extra resistance, but you want the tube to be pulling down. So if you have the cable, you want it to be pulling down so that as you're crunching, you're pulling against it, really against gravity, okay? Well, not gravity, but whatever, you get it, okay? So let's just say towel here, head here, abs nice and tight, get a nice big stretch. So I'm actually pushing my butt into, you can see, into the ball, and then I'm gonna come up and crunch, 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 I'm actually bringing my hips up, so I'm trying to get my hips to meet my ribs. So big stretch, notice how everything's stretching and I'm pushing everything back, and then up, 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 and crunch, okay? So when you do exercises of any kind, okay, whether it's a squat or not, controlling the eccentric is really where you build strength. So we're not necessarily trying to, I mean, we're trying to build strength in everything that we do, but, you know, we're not gonna start trying to add like, you know, a bunch of weight here. So, but I do say controlling every movement, doing a really slow eccentric and then a hold and then a crunch and then a hold there, like getting the most out of your reps and then building and progressing from there. So let's say you do 15 of those or 20, and then the next time you do these, you add the tube. So let me go see if I can find a tube so that I can at least show you how the dynamic of how the crunch is supposed to go. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna just go into some sled work. I'm not gonna go crazy with it, but I'm gonna have you like see how I use it. You could use it with a belt or you could use it with a band, but there are ways that you do it that it will aggravate your back, and then there are ways that you will do it that'll be really good for the knee and the core. So I have used it for my knees and my core, but we'll get into that in a second. Let me go find a tube, and then we'll do this, showing the progression to the crunch on the ball, and then that's it. I might have to use a band instead, but I'll explain. Okay. Oh God. Here we go. Every time I get up. Okay. So I couldn't find a tube. I didn't look very hard, just being honest. But they have bands all over the place. But a resistance tube is the ones where they have the handles, okay? Like you could stand on and do bicep curls. And then these are the bands, the long bands. They have booty bands that are short for booty exercises. And then they have the long bands. So what I did was I just grabbed a band and I attached it really as low as I could. And I'm gonna demo how you're gonna do it, okay? So what I'm gonna do is make sure that I'm nice and even. And then I'm gonna grab onto the band and I'm just gonna kind of hold on to it, like open wide like this, and right onto the back of my neck, like as if I was holding two handles of a resistance tube. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I have to give myself some kudos right now because I'm in the perfect position. Okay, so I'm gonna drop my hips and stretch like I did before, and then I'm going to crunch up. Drop my hips and stretch, and then crunch up. So I could probably, what I would say for me personally, I could probably move further away, and it would be better if I had a bigger ball when I'm adding the resistance. Not a big deal when I'm just doing it with just the body weight. So hopefully you guys like these. 3 really basic exercises, but again, if you can't even master the basics, you have no business doing the other stuff. So now let's move on to some sled work. That's gonna be the end of the video. That's gonna be the end of my workout. I'll probably end up doing like 3 or so sets. Sometimes what I do is I do the backward walk there and back. Sometimes I do backward walk and then I push the sled. And that's it. So let's get to that now. Okay. So I did want to go over one more thing. When you're doing the sled, it's important to warm up your knees. So this is something that I do before I do the sled, which I actually forgot to do it, and that's what made me want to do this for you. And it's something that I do on all my quad days. So it's called TKEs, terminal knee extension. And basically what you want to do is, it's got to be a thick band, okay? You want to have it right in line with your knees. I think you guys could see me, yep. Okay, so I'm leaning on the left leg, but then I'm gonna put all the focus onto the right. So still tension as it's pulling this way, short range of motion, and then drive back. You don't necessarily have to squeeze the glutes at all, it's just all quads. Okay, so keep that abs nice and tight, so you're keeping the core tight so that you don't get thrown forward. And keep that tension. So still tension and then hard flex. So usually what I'll do is like 10 to 15 on each knee, and I'll go back and forth, let's say like 3 sets. So this knee is a little bit bothering me today. So I started out putting the tension, leaning onto the leg that doesn't have the band, and then now I'm shifting the weight onto this leg. So hard flex, but then still hold and control. Hard flex, hold and control. So this is gonna give me a really good warm up for my knee before I then start the sled, which I did one set already, and I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna keep the weight here. A little tip for you, when you're loading up the sled, depending on how many plates you put on, just for cleanup purposes, you could put like a 5-pound plate, 2.5s in between, so it's a lot easier to clean up. And that's it. So I'm gonna get into, I actually think I'm gonna try to find somebody so that I could have them walk around as I'm doing this. Okay, all right, so I have 2 bands on because the tension of just one of them isn't gonna be enough. I have it right on the small of my back, and I'm gonna sit down, okay? And I'm gonna slowly get myself started because it's heavy, there's a lot of weight on it, and I'm gonna keep good posture as I slowly walk myself back. So with moving back this way, abs are nice and tight, and I'm thinking that I'm doing a leg extension, okay? So I'm gonna slowly walk it all the way back, keeping myself in line, and then we're just gonna stop just for video purposes and because there's other people. I'm gonna wrap my hands around, and now I'm gonna walk and press like I'm doing a single leg press. So single leg extension and abs tight on the way there, single leg press, glutes and quads on the way back. And that's it. All right, so that is it. That is the end of everything. I hope you like this. So I know this wasn't like a badass grunting workout, me doing drop sets and crazy, but you do have to do the basics. You have to, no matter how old you are, and I'm getting old. So, you know, I was just telling one of my clients that's in her 60s, I said, you don't do less as you get older, you actually have to start doing more. So now I get here 20 minutes earlier to warm up and do mobility work. So, this is my Monday. Monday I do mobility, core, and I also, if I have the proper foot attire, I might start walking on the treadmill. But so far we're at Monday number 2 and I have not done that. But I'm gonna do another set on the sled, maybe 2 more sets, not gonna go any heavier. That's it. So I hope you guys like this video. Like, subscribe, share to the channel. Leave your comments below and let me know if there's more core exercises that you would like for me to go over, good and bad posture. And then if there is anybody that needs my support, guidance. All my programs include everything. I do everything or nothing. So I won't just write out a meal plan. I won't just write out training. It is everything with me. Education, support, accountability, meal plans, training split, education, videos, food prep, all that kinds of good stuff. So the information is in the description along with all my sponsors, discounts on everything that's in the description. Use my code, all the good stuff. But if you love me, you'll like the video, and I will see you in the next one.